Well, hello and welcome to Group Week. I am so excited for you. I hope that you are right now gathered around with a few other people that you are intentionally helping to grow and that they are intentionally helping you grow. We think that there's all kinds of tools that we use as a church to help people better love Jesus, love each other, and love the world. Classes and events and programming and live services. But I really believe that when you are sitting around with a group of people, and if you're willing to take some risks and really ask some questions and open yourself up and share your story and share what God is calling you to do, it is one of the best tools to help you grow. And we believe this so much that actually starting next month in July, we are going to be meeting exclusively in community groups for all of July and August. And I am so excited about it. And so make sure if you are meeting with your group this morning that you spend some time talking and planning about what you guys are going to do this summer, what Sundays or Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays, whenever it is that you're going to meet, figure out where you're going to meet and what that's going to look like. But I just think it's going to be a great summer of helping us grow. We're going to be looking at a study called Unanswered Prayers. We're going to be looking at some of those really difficult questions and doubts sometimes we struggle with of, why is it that God sometimes acts and does miraculous things, and how come sometimes he doesn't? And how do we talk about that? How do we live in that tension? So it's just going to be really wonderful. So make sure you spend time talking about that with your group today. But one of the big things that we do when we get together with groups is we want to spend time getting to know the people that we are with, really sharing our lives with other people and getting to know the lives of other people. So take some time right now and go around in your group and just share how you are doing. Especially, we would love to hear what is it that you are really grateful for, thankful for. Spend some time kind of reflecting on what's happened over the last couple days and share what just bubbles up and what you are thankful for. But then we also know that there is difficult things in our lives. And so what are you stressed about? What's challenging? Go ahead and share that. And then I would love for you to share, how have you been doing with what we've been talking about in both of our live services and Sunday morning groups? How have you been doing in practicing Sabbath, making regular times for fun, for rest, for feasting, for worship? How have you done trying to get rid of some of the clutter and the hurriedness of your life? And how have you done in taking regular time to slow down and the Sabbath? Have you taken the time this weekend yet? This past week? Do you have a plan going forward? Spend some time and talking about how you're doing with that. So pause me and we'll talk again in a second. All right. Today we are going to continue talking about Sabbath. And Sabbath is one of those interesting things because for I hope many of you over the last couple weeks as we've been talking about it, if you got a chance to practice it, I hope you've really had a great time with it. But every once in a while, you'll talk to some folks about Sabbath, and it's something that they're doing on a regular basis, but it is not producing fun. It is not something that is joyful for them. It is not something, it just feels like this other burden of something they have to do. And one of the ways that I think about it, one of the things that I relate sometimes to Sabbath is the idea of Christmas. And I'm someone who I love Christmas. I love in Christmas in a lot of ways. I mean, it's a day of fun, of feasting, of hopefully getting a chance to rest, hoping a chance to get to really worship. Christmas is a time where you have to plan for it. It doesn't just happen. It's something that takes some intentionality. You have to say no to some things so you can really focus on your family and get ready. And I love it. I love everything that goes on with Christmas morning. But every once in a while, I'll talk to folks, and maybe you're in this camp where Christmas is not an enjoyable thing. It just seems like there's dread. It just feels like Christmas is just a lot of work. It's a lot of expectations. It's just like a lot. And once Christmas is over, they just can't wait. And I think there's something in there that we can really learn. I think that there's a big difference between the idea of something that you have to do and something that you get to do. I think there's a big difference between things that are rules and things that are habits. And as we've been talking about the idea of Sabbath, for me, I could easily get into the idea of what could seem like rules of things that would be helpful for me in practicing Sabbath. And so, okay, we're going to get our grocery shopping done by this day. And at this certain minute, the night before, we're going to turn off our cell phones and we're going to put on away messages. And, during this time, there's going to be no screens. And during this time, there's going to be, and I could easily make up a whole bunch of rules that I feel like that they would help my Sabbath be helpful. But I could also see how those rules could at some point could become weary and really become difficult. I want to read you this quote, and I'll put it in the email as well, so you can go ahead and read along with you. But this is from Mark Buckingham's book about the rest of God and about Sabbath, and I think it's great, and you should read that book, by the way. He says this. He said, "I developed some rules, good rules, I thought, but rules all the same. At first, I exhorted myself to keep the rules. Then I consigned myself for not keeping the rules. Then I prided myself for keeping them. If not perfectly, then at least better than other people did. Then I started to find the fault with those people who didn't have the same rules I had or who didn't keep the rules as consistently as I did. When I found myself getting angry with those people, when they dared to feel tired or stressed, well, if you had kept the Sabbath holy as I do, you wouldn't feel that way now, would you?" And it's so easy. It's so easy for anything with religion, anything with rules, to be something that just feels like a burden, that feels like a hassle. It's easy for us to start being judgmental. It's easy for us to start getting angry. And that is not the idea of Sabbath. The idea of Sabbath is that we do want to establish, I believe, habits, but it's not about us having a lot of things that we have to do. It's about things that we get to do. It's the difference between having a religion and having a relationship. It's the idea between getting to do what you want to do on Christmas morning, spending time with the people that you want to spend time with, only doing the things that you really want to do and your family really want to do, and feeling like that's the crushing expectation of all these things that like culture or your family or whatever else is telling you you have to do. And so what I would love for you guys to do today is spend some time talking about your practice of Sabbath and how can you really make it a gift. As you hopefully embark on habits of Sabbath this summer and hopefully for the rest of your life, how can you make it something where it doesn't feel like it's like this drudgery, where it doesn't feel like it's something like where if you don't do it, you feel guilty, where you're like comparing yourself against other people, but where it really feels like a weekly gift. And as you do that, I would love for you to spend some time in these scriptures. And so Mark 2, starting in verse 23, and then go all the way to Mark chapter 3, verse 6. There's two different stories there about Jesus and how he interacted with the Sabbath. Jesus had these amazing different encounters where there was a group of very religious people who were very good about keeping the Sabbath rules. There was all these things that they didn't do on the Sabbath and all these, they were very good about that. But they were missing the boat on what the whole point of it was actually supposed to be. And Jesus was trying to teach them and us a lesson about what Sabbath was really supposed to be about. So take some time, look through those scriptures, Mark 2, starting in verse 23, through Mark chapter 3, verse 6, two different stories about the Sabbath. Talk about what do those verses tell us about who God is like? What does God value? What are the kind of things that God wants to see happen on Sabbath and in life in general? And what does it tell us about us? Well, what are the things that we can naturally gravitate to? And how do you see yourself maybe in some of those religious leaders? And then, please, please, please spend some time and talk about, for this coming week and for this summer, what is an I will statement? What will you, as you think about this habit, this practice of Sabbath, what will it look like for you to incorporate it into your life? And how will you make it into a weekly gift and not something that just feels like a have to? What will that look like? What will it look like for it to be a real relationship and not just something that is religion? So this is what I'm talking about that. And I'll see you guys hopefully at live service and Burger Bash next Sunday. Talk to you soon. Bye.